Hey guys, it's Jamie. So today we're going to be doing our zipper pouch. All right, so we've got our zipper. We have 4 pieces of fabric, and they are simply just 2 of each fabric that you want to use. So you'll have 2 rectangles for the outside and 2 for the inside. I just stacked mine up to cut it. And then we've got our zipper. You also will need a zipper foot. That's going to be your one that is kind of skinny like this. On my machines and on Singers, this is the I foot. So first thing we got to do is take off our regular foot, this one right here. So I've got a little lever back here I'm going to push. It's going to drop it down, take that one off. And then I'm going to be putting this zipper foot on the left side of my attacher here. So you can also put it on the right side. And if you're coming up a zipper and then going back down, you may want to move it over to that right side. But for our purposes, we are going to put it on the left side. So I'm just putting my presser foot lifter down on top of that. The other thing I'm going to do is make sure that my needle's in the correct position, which mine is right now. So it's going right into the groove of the foot right here. On my machines at the studio, it is in the left position when we turn it on. So it's on a 0-0 stitch, and that has it over on the left position. So you may have seen me do that there, where I moved the needle over. But on my machine at home, this one is right in the center. So we're good to go. So first thing we're going to do is determine which ones we want on the outside and which ones we want on the inside. So I'm going to do the dots on the outside this time. So we're going to start with one side of our zipper. So we're going to take our lining fabric, which is this one with the starbursts, and I'm going to put one piece of lining fabric down face up. I'm going to take my zipper, and I'm also going to put it face up on top of the fabric. And then I'm going to take my lining fabric, and I'm going to put it face down. So I'm putting my right sides of my fabric together, and the zipper is sandwiched face up between these. And if you remember that the only piece that needs to go face down is your outer piece, the one that you want to show, then that's how I remember how to do this, because there is a lot of flipping and turning. And then we are going to be sewing really close to where our zipper teeth are right here, but almost in the middle of that zipper tape. So we're going to be sewing right along here. And you can't see it, so you got to kind of feel it where that zipper is so you don't run over it or run off the side. But the nice thing about these is they're pretty small, so even if you make a little mistake, it's pretty easy to pick out. So we're going to start up here with a back stitch and just go all the way down here and then back stitch again. The clips are really good for this project because they sit right where you need them to. So we'll do our back stitch to start. I'm going to remove my first clip, and then I'm just going to start sewing this straight down. And another back stitch here to lock that in, and then we can take it off the machine. And now we have one side of our zipper on right there. Now we're going to put on the other side. So we're going to repeat that same process. So we're taking our lining fabric again, same process, putting lining fabric face up. We're putting our zipper face up. It now has fabric attached, but it's the same process. So lining face up, zipper face up, outer piece face down on top of it, just like we did on the other side. And we're going to clip this together. So we're just getting all of our fabric and our zipper tape right together here. This one's being difficult. Okay, so we got that right there. So everything's together, see? And then we're going to sew it just like we did on the other side. And do a back stitch, setting a bad example. And a back stitch here, and then we'll take that off and we'll see what we did. So see, now we've got our zipper completely put into the bag right here. So that's our outer pieces. Those are our outer pieces. And that's our inside pieces. So I did not bring my iron out here today because it wouldn't fit on my table, but what you would do here is go ahead and iron these pieces away from your zipper before you do this next step. But I'm just gonna kind of finger press this out a little bit. So you're gonna pull that away from your zipper, and then we're gonna top stitch. So to top stitch, we're just putting a line right along this edge of the zipper to hold that seam in there, and it just makes everything look really nice. I'm lining this up along the edge of the presser foot, the back of the presser foot right here. Okay. And then we're going to do that same thing on the other side. So very important, you want this piece, these pieces on the lining to be out when you're doing that, because if you accidentally take one like that and then do your top stitching, which I've done before, you won't be able to open your zipper. Okay. And there we go. We're all top stitched. It looks nice and it keeps your lining from moving its way up into your zipper later on. Okay, so now we're gonna open our zipper. And if you have any leftover pieces on the edge right here, you can go ahead and cut those off. But when you do this, just be aware that you're cutting off the stops of your zipper too. So you don't want to move your zipper off the pouch at all, because it'll fall right off the side and then you have to start over, which is no fun. Okay, so we're gonna take this and we're gonna be putting our two right sides together on this side and our right sides together on this side. So we've got like an 8 right here. And we're gonna just put those right sides together. I'm gonna take the zipper teeth and I'm gonna be pushing them so that they're going toward my lining pieces. They're kind of already doing that, but you just wanna make sure that your zipper goes towards your lining pieces, because they tend to, if they don't do that, sometimes the edges of them will stick out at the top of the pouch, and then your it doesn't look nice, and it also you run the risk of your zipper pull falling off the edges. The other thing you don't want is to get anything twisted this way, because your zipper won't function. So we're going to take the pieces and I'm going to put the zipper teeth so that they're moving toward the lining, just like I said, like this. So I've got my two right sides together of my lining pieces. And I'll show you this after I get it clipped together a little bit better. So I clip those in first. So I get my pieces going, my zipper teeth going toward my lining pieces. Okay, there we go. So there that is. My zipper teeth going toward the lining pieces. I always think that step is so strange because you can't really see it very well, but it's very important. And then once you get that clipped together, you can go ahead and clip around the whole rest of the pouch, like this. I'm only gonna use about 2 other clips right here, but you can use as many as you like. Now what we're gonna do is sew everything but a small space down here in the lining, and we're gonna just sew a little box around it. So I'm gonna mark that on there like I do for you in class. And I'll show you exactly where we're sewing. Okay, so we've got that right there. We've got our pieces right here. So I'm gonna be starting here. And I'm also going to go ahead and change my foot back to my regular foot right here. My machine at home is so different from the ones at the studio. Sometimes I get confused. Okay, so we're going right to here and turning our corner. we're halfway there. Okay, and then we've got our sewn zipper pouch. So now all we need to do is cut it. So we're gonna cut it here, just trim it up a little bit. I like to, if I have corners, you can cut them out across like this diagonally, and that'll take a little bit of the bulk out of the corner. And if you desire, you can also trim up your edges if they're big. I'm gonna leave mine for today, but because this is not very thick fabric. And I'm gonna flip everything through that hole that I left in the lining. This part's always a little hard to explain, so when you're flipping everything out, because you'll get it out to here and you'll be like, oh no, this is not how I wanted it. But what you have to do is take your chopstick or your fingers and poke everything out, kind of like it was on the inside, but now it's right side out. But we want to keep the lining of it out for a minute, because we want to be able to get your corners pushed out before we sew this all up. So there we go. We got our hole in the lining right there. This is our outside right here. Everything's pushed out, and our last step before we get everything on the inside of this is to just sew right here. So I'm going to sew right at the edge of that line to close up our hole. Okay.